Hello students, welcome to Sagar Group of Institutions. Today I will be discussing pre-placement talk. My name is Udit Veer Singh Rajput and the agenda is pre-placement talk as I already told you now. You all are in semester 7. Okay, so what is the aim of today's lecture and what is the planning of our institution? You can see on the screen to review your lost sharpness. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is that whatever you have continued till now, a journey in the electrical and electronics branch, so many subjects you have studied till sixth semesters. And if someone will ask you that what you know better, then you will be confused in saying that you are good in control or you are good in machines or you are good in network. Where you are good, sometimes it is very difficult to answer. So what is the planning is that we have selected some subjects and in the interview questions if somebody is asking you what you know, then basic things you should understand, and for that I will be teaching you a subject known as network analysis, the basics of that. And the aim is, as I said, you can see my second point, fluent knowledge of your mother branch. Okay, and the third point is finally placement in good firms or in good companies. This is our final agenda. Like if you are coming in an interview and if you are sitting there, if somebody is asking you what you know, what you studied, then they are also familiar with some basic things of network, basic formulas, basic understanding. So I have selected some basic topics of network analysis which you must know. And in the pre-placement training, what I will be doing is I will be making three videos actually, video 1, video 2 and video 3. All these things you can see on the screen. Let me take a pen. Okay, so in this video 1, what I found is the most important things in the study is this active and passive elements. Okay, sorry, I have written a wrong spelling, elements. This is elements. Okay, and complete behavior. Today I will be telling you this. I will try my best that in a very short period I can make you understand. Then the video 2 will be AC and DC circuit analysis. That means after studying these active elements and these passive elements, then we need to connect them. And now in these active and passive elements, we will see that obviously you all are 7th sem students, so you know better that what is an AC source, what is an AC source and what is a DC source. Obviously, the passive elements behave differently for active and passive. You all know this, but obviously you all know the theorems also, which will be my third video. But in this session, why we are stressing on all those things what you have already studied, because these are the key points which you should know the basics in your mind, this fluent knowledge. This is the main agenda, fluent knowledge you should have. If somebody is asking you directly, you can reply them that yes, there should be no confusion while answering these things. So in the ACs, in the video 2, AC and DC circuit analysis to passive elements, I will be telling you about the time domain analysis and the frequency domain analysis. That is the coverage of some Laplace concept. But in this, and finally in this approaches of theorems, why theorems are necessary. That is, you have studied so many theorems, Thevenin's theorem, superposition theorem, Norton's theorem. What is the need of that? I will not be solving problems, I will not be solving circuits, but I will be telling you that what is the need, what is the why we are studying everything, why analysis we have to do here in our study. Okay, so let me continue to this video number 1, that is active and passive elements. So let me start my topic 1, active and passive elements. So what are active elements? You all know these are active elements. Okay, if you can see on the screen, this is a DC source, and this is what a hydropower plant. If you can see, what is this solar power plant, what we are doing here, we are taking energy from the sun to a panel. then we are converting that. What is this board, switchboard? This energy which is coming from these towers are finally coming to our homes, and this source from where we are taking power, that is a AC source, and this is a DC source. So what is the difference between AC and DC source? But before that, understanding the difference between AC and DC source, we should understand that they are energy sources, and if they are energy sources, then they are known as active elements. That's it. It may be AC or it may be DC. So this is a good flow chart telling you that any energy source is an active element. This active element is what? An energy source. Okay. Now energy source are direct source and alternating current source. In the uh, here also there are independent sources and dependent sources. And if it is a dependent source, then there are four types: voltage controlled, voltage source, VC. All, I don't think I should repeat these names. You all already know them. Now, whenever we teach students, then not always we apply these types of diagrams of batteries and all these types of generators. We represent them with a symbol. So if a symbol is represented in front of you in such a way, I have shown on the screen, you can see this is a voltage source, this is a current source. But by seeing the source waveform, you can clearly predict that it is a AC source. And in the second one, the plus minus is mentioned, or they can mention in this way also. This is the battery, like this. This is a battery, so this will be a DC source. Okay. Now, if the sources are represented in this way, in a quadrilateral pattern, that means that they are dependent sources. Now, what type of source it is, how you can identify them? Now, see, it is very simple. Let me change pen. This is a very good question here. You should all know this. Now, here what it is written? Here it is written 5 volt. So, and in the center, the arrow shows that it is a current source. So, in the all the four sources, 1, 2, 3, and this one 4, you see, first of all, you identify which type of source it is. The first one is a voltage source, plus minus. Okay. The second one is a current source. The third one is a voltage and again current. So that means this is first one I am writing here, that this is a voltage source. Now let us check the name of this source. The name of this source is something V. It is mentioned V. That means it is dependent. This is a voltage source which is dependent on some voltage. So you will mention here voltage dependent, like this, voltage source. Now here also it is mentioned V, but it is a current source. This one is second one is the current source. So what it will become? Voltage dependent current source. Now you guess me for you can guess this one for me, what it will be. Let me take a pause, or it will be good if you will write in the comment section. Okay, please write in the comment section what type of source it is. I believe that you all are my very good students. One of my best students are there in this batch. So I think you will answer me in the comment section. This is a very simple question for you all to answer. So this is the understanding of active elements. Now let us compare between AC and DC. You can see the diagram. Everybody knows this. Whenever from a 12th class student I will tell them that what is the AC source, he will say, sir, a waveform like this is an AC, and a constant, it is a DC. But why we are studying them? This we should know carefully. A AC source is mathematically represented by a multiplication of sine omega t or cos omega t, and a DC source is always mentioned as constant. And why we are studying it carefully? Because in sometimes in future we need to differentiate, we need to integrate, and whenever we will differentiate a constant, we will get a zero. And many times you will see uh, there will be such times when it will be needed to differentiate a DC source. So, but let me tell you some more understandings. Uh, check check here. This diagram, the first one, this one, the first diagram, what it is depicting, what it is showing is this first one and the second one, the below bottom one. What it is showing, I'm removing the third diagram. It is showing that if I'm applying this AC source between these terminals, this point and this point, if I am providing a source, AC source, like this is the AC source. That means the current is moving like this, and then the current is coming back like this. So the current is in the any resistance, the current is moving like this, like this. It's going here and it is coming back. It's going here, it is coming back. It is going here, it is coming back. And if the frequency is 50 hertz, and if the frequency is 50 hertz, that means in 50 times it is moving ups and down, ups and down, ups and down. All right. Now, what is the meaning of this? You all know, first of all, now let me tell you something about DC also. DC means only one direction. The current charges are moving in this direction only. That's it. So what is the meaning? Here there is a fluctuation. Here there is no fluctuation. So here only I want to tell you one thing. Students, one law you have studied, that in a wire, if there is a movement of current, then always, if thumb is the direction of the current, then if you point the curled fingers, then surrounding the wire, you will feel that there will be a presence of magnetic field. Now here is the direction of the current upside. Now the magnetic field will be how much? Anti-clockwise. Okay. And in the AC case, if this current, what it is going inside is an AC current, what is the nature of the AC current? It is going inside from bottom, and also in 0.02 millisecond it will be coming back also. Now again it will be going here and it will be coming back. So what it is doing, the moving magnetic field, this magnetic field also, which is in the anti-clockwise direction, this is also rotating around the wire. And if the anti-clock, as the current is moving, so as your magnetic field is also moving, clock, anti-clock, like that. So what it is doing here, according to the law, and in the fourth semester of power system, we have studied that if such a nature is seen along the wire, then in that wire there is a generation of an inductor. There is a generation of an inductance. That means automatically an inductance L is generated. You all know this. You all should know that a passive element automatically there is a generation. All right. So this there was necessary here to discuss. I have to discuss the passive elements in detail in the next slide, but there was a time to discuss about that, so I discussed here only. So mathematically, mathematically we are representing only. This is a representation, and but the movement of the current is ups and down, ups and down. Some of people still, and it is really a point of situation to laugh, that some of the teachers itself, sometimes I have found that they are saying that in the wire the current is moving like this in the wire. That is AC, up and down, up and down. So we cannot actually replace their doubts. So let us continue to the passive element. What are passive elements? You can see on the screen, passive elements are resistance, inductance, and capacitance. But in the last slide, what I told you, that passive elements can be generated also. Now, that was very important to you all to know. What are passive elements? Passive elements can only receive energy, or energy can be consumed here. Okay. So energy consumption, the place is resistor, inductor, and capacitor. And why I am showing this diagram? Why I am showing this diagram, students? This one, this household appliances. Ultimately, in this household appliances, if we are supplying AC current, okay, and you all know that our homes are home appliances are working on AC itself. Then in these appliances, when AC current is going, then obviously there is a generation of inductance. And if this, and what is this and this, what is the difference? This is artificial inductor, what companies are making. How they are made, this is the coil. You can see this wire, this wire rounded. So this, there is a different separate formula for this inductance, okay, that we have to study in the next slide. And for this inductance which is generated, there is a separate formula. So but the nature of both the inductor is same, their unit is same, Henry, okay. And by this we have understood that everywhere wherever alternating current is going, we have inductance generation, okay. Now let me move to the next slide. What are the internal formula for passive elements? What are the formulas for the resistance, inductance and capacitance? This is a basic question which anybody can ask you in your interviews. So till now what I have made you study is that inductance and capacitances are generated also automatically, and those type of elements are known as distributed elements, which are generated due to law of electrical and magnetic energy. And here inductor and capacitor have some separate formulas also, like resistance is equal to rho L by A. Inductance formula, if you want to derive, then this is the formula, mu naught n square A by L. And one thing I can commit here, that on this formula, any year if you will give exam of SSC junior engineer, you will get at least 3 to 4 questions. This you can, I can challenge you on this. And the third formula for the capacitance is epsilon naught A by D. So now let me continue. This you all already know. So Ohm's law now. What is the Ohm's law application to passive elements? What is the Ohm's law application to a passive element? What I want to tell you, this all formulas you all already know. If you don't know, then you need to by heart them. So what is the meaning of this formula? I want to explain you all that if suppose this resistance, if some current is entering in this inductor, if suppose a current is entering, and in this capacitor, if suppose a current is entering, I am not telling you what is the nature of this current. The nature of this current can be DC or AC. Now does it make any difference whether it is DC or it is AC? You all tell me, does it make any difference? Yes, there is a lot of difference. If a AC current is moving, then obviously there will be a circulating waveform, and if a DC current is moving, then there will be a constant current and constant magnetic field generation. All right. So there is a lot of difference between the nature of the current. We all should know that. Now, accordingly, if we will see the formula Ohm's law application, the voltage is equal to voltage drop is equal to current into resistance, current equal to voltage upon resistance. And what is it? This clearly says that this formula is very simple to understand, and it clearly depicts that formula is a simple algebra. But when we move towards inductor and when we move towards capacitor, the voltage is not L into I like this, R into I. Here not it is L into I. There is L into differentiation of that current. This current what it is entering, the differentiation of that current. Now suppose if the current entering is a DC current, then what will happen? Then what will happen? If a current entering is a DC current, that means voltage is equal to L into D by dt of current, and the current, if it is DC, then it means that it is a constant, then it is L differentiation of constant, that is 0, then the voltage of the inductor will be 0. All right, that's why the nature of the current is very important to study. And suppose it is a AC current, is not DC, then obviously you all know that AC current, in mathematically also in AC we multiply it with sin omega t, and differentiation of sin omega t, it is not 0. Now the formula for the voltage here, formula for the voltage is L di by dt, and the current is 1 by L integration of V L dt. Okay. The reverse is the formula for the capacitor. Okay. Voltage of the capacitor is the reverse of what we have studied in inductor. One good thing I want to explain you student, that wherever, in every case, either it is formula, either it is nature, either it is representations, anything it is, inductor and capacitors are opposite to each other. You all should by heart these things. Whatever today I am telling you all, like these formulas, resistor, like capacitor, inductance formula, these are the basic formula for remembrance. And whatever in the slide I am showing you, this is very, very good for you all in all. For example, what I want to tell you is that till now you have studied 30 subjects. Okay, 30 subject आप पढ़ चुके हैं, and in all these 30 subjects everything you cannot remember. So in my network analysis, what today I am teaching you in this pre-placement talk, these formulas, these things are the basic what I नींव है ये एक तरीके से. So you all should always remember all these things. Okay. Now, how do we connect an active and passive element? So whenever we will connect our DC source with a resistor or this in this motor is a type of inductor. Okay, why it is an inductor? Because there are so much of coils inside it, and obviously when the current will be entering here, then there will be a generation of inductor. But you all can ask me that, sir, this is a DC source, then also there will be a generation. So I will say that no, there will not be a generation, but inside this there is a coil that makes it a inductor. Okay, if it is a AC source, then surely there is an inductance. So this is a series connection of a resistance and inductance. Active elements and passive elements like these things are connected together. Now see, this analysis, two diagrams are shown, the one here and one here. You all clearly know that what I will be telling you. One is the DC circuit analysis and one is the AC circuit analysis. So what is a circuit? Connection of many passive elements, this in a bunch together, either series, parallel, or star delta, triplets. These are connections of active and passive elements. There is so much of formation, and that analysis with a some source. So if there is a DC source, then the analysis will be something different, and if this is a AC source, then the analysis will go in some other direction. DC source, magnitude, and you all know this nature. Now see what we have to study directly. If you see DC source applied to resistor, DC source applied to inductor, DC source applied to capacitor. AC source applied to resistor, AC applied to inductor, AC applied to capacitor. You all actually know this. Okay. In the whenever we will continue the DC circuit analysis, in very short, I will be telling you in my maybe in the next video that how this inductor will behave like an open or short circuit, and how this capacitor will behave like open or short circuit. I will be telling you in the next video, but in the previous itself, I want to tell you that you have already understood, I think here, that in the case of DC, there is a generation of a word, and that word is known as transient analysis. Transient. Okay, transient analysis is the word which is associated with DC. Okay, it is not associated with AC. Whenever we will talk about lagging current, both the voltage is here, current is lagging behind with some angle, then that means that we are studying. We are studying AC circuit analysis. Power factor, if we are studying that word, that means that what type of circuit we are studying. We are studying AC circuits. And if somebody is saying us that the inductor is shorted, or inductor is open circuited, or capacitor is shorted, or capacitor is open circuited, so that means what type of circuit we are studying? We are studying DC circuit analysis. This is what actually is the conclusion point, which will be in the second video. But already some students, you all are very smart, and you, by seeing these diagrams only, you have guessed, I think, that this will be the second part. And here you all should know that how they will behave. And if you are not knowing this, then you must see the next video. I will be telling in detail the behavior of inductor and capacitor. Okay. Now Now ending to the video, what I will tell you here, you can see what you all have to do. So ending to the video, the assignment work, there is an assignment work. I will be giving you simple 10 questions, okay, on the Google Classroom, and you will be answering those questions. Please follow the procedure of answering the question, students, and accordingly a mark sheet we are generating regularly, and after that that result will be very beneficial for you in your upcoming placements, and this way finally in the third video after the completion there will be a test. So I think you liked the video, and if you have any doubts or some other topics if you want from my side that I should cover, then you can mention in the comments section, or you can directly talk to me on WhatsApp group also. And one more last thing, student, that after the completion of these three videos, I will be taking two more videos of two or three videos of control system also, where I will not be teaching you the complete control system, what I have already taught you, but I will be telling you there that why actually we are studying these subjects. Okay. Now in this lecture also there are so many things. Theorems are there, Laplace is there, circuit analysis is there, two-port network is there, Fourier series is there. But uh, after a lot many thinking, I selected that what is the main thing why we are studying this network analysis. So actually we are using AC in our homes, and in the mobile phones we are using DC, in the laptop we are using DC, means we are using AC and we are using DC also, both the sources we are using. So in this how these appliances are behaving, that is a very important concept you should know, that everywhere there is a presence of inductors and capacitors and resistors, but if the source is different, then how it can behave. So this is the basic understanding you have to keep in your mind, and good luck for your campus students. Meet you in the next video. Thank you.